Hey do-it-yourself enthusiasts, have you seen the new multicolored LED lampstands that add ambient light to a room and react to sound? Well, today we're diving into a fun and creative project that's sure to add a burst of color and ambience to any room. Our very own sound reactive RGB LED lampstand, and we're going to do it for less than half the cost online. So let's jump right in. Like many of these kinds of projects, I start out planning in my Miro board, where I design the wire diagram and the concept of how it all fits together. I have a link to the Miro board in the description. I've prepared all the parts I think we're going to need here. I'm actually starting with my drawing that I have from my Miro board, just using it right here on my phone so I can see the layout of all the things we need based on what we did in our original planning stage. Here's what you'll need for this project. A roll of WS2812B LED light strips, a 5-volt 3-amp power supply, an ESP32 D1 Mini, a digital microphone, miscellaneous wires, and a 4x4 fence post topper, and 5/8 or 11/16 square by 60 inches long raw lumber of some sort, and of course the LED channels and this little end cap. Just a quick view of some of the tools I use for this stage of the project. So we have here solder, we have solder remover, we have some really good flux, the wire stripper, some dikes, my favorite needle nose tweezers, some heat shrink, solder gun, heat gun, and some helping hands to hold the wires together while I try and solder it all together. Looking at my Miro board, I see I have 6 wires coming out here of the D1 Mini to the digital microphone. So I've kind of got it laid out like this. So we got wires coming out from the D1 Mini, and then we got wires coming into the D1 Mini, and the power supply is powering both the D1 Mini and going to power the lights. So this is how I'm going to lay it out. I'm going to cut the wires to approximately the same size so I can start soldering them to the D1 Mini board. Wires cut that I need approximately the same length, so the next step is going to be to tin each one of the ends of each one of these wires and prepare it to be going on to the D1 Mini according to this layout that we have right here. Well, now we have all the wires tinned and ready to go. We're going to attach them per the schematic I've drawn here onto this D1 Mini board. And I just attach them straight. I don't put any little pins or anything because I like them to have a pretty low profile. So I push them through on this side and attach them to the back of the board on this side. Let's cut these pretty short, like that. Goes to the third one on the inside, 1, 2, 3. That one there. In this case, I like to use a little bit of this flux so that it flows just where I want it to only. It's got a nice little needle nose tip here. Just get it around that pin perfectly, or the wire tip in this case. All right, I'm gonna get comfortable. Have all 6 wires soldered on the D1 Mini board for the digital microphone. And so that is ready to now solder to the digital mic, which I think next though I'm going to attach the rest of the wires to the D1 Mini board for the power intake and the data wire going out to the lights. And here I added the 3 additional wires, the red and black for the power, for it to come in to the D1 Mini, and then the yellow one is going to be the data wire going out to the LED light. Now we have all 9 wires attached to the D1 Mini. Here we have all the wires connected to the power connector, and now we'll install WLED. Go to your computer and plug in your ESP32 into a micro USB data cable into your computer, and go to install.wled.me and install the latest WLED software. This will take a few minutes, and at the end of it, it will prompt you to connect to your Wi-Fi. Next, download the latest Moons module to your computer from this GitHub site. Then in WLED, go to Security and Updates, scroll down to Manual Over-the-Air Updates, and navigate to the file and click Update. It's really that simple. When Moons module is finally installed, you should land back on a screen that looks like this. Go into Config. You should have already had your Wi-Fi connected. Go into LED Preferences. You want to change this to 3000 milliamps, which is 3 amps. Make sure this is set to 5 volt, and it's a WS28 1X, and these are GRB in this case, and we have 91 lights on our lampstand in GPL 16. Click Save, go back, then go down to audio-reactive and make sure that this check mark is enabled and that the digital mic has these settings. This should default to that based on the schematic that we drew in Miro. The only last thing you need to change is down here. You want to make sure that this profile is set to IMNP441. Click Save, go back. Now we're ready to go back to the workshop, plug it all in and see if it all works. So now we're plugging it into the power, and we have power. Success. Next, I wanted to make sure I was able to connect to it with my iPhone and make sure I connected it with the app and was able to go into configuration and see all the configurations. Well, the question is does it work with sound? And there you go. It is working with sound, just like that. Try a different color effect. Go to my tried and true fairy reef. Like that one a lot. Yeah, very subtle. You can hear my voice softly, or if I speak loudly. So great. It is now working, and we're on to the next step. I'm going to do a little bit more mocking up on the actual wood frame and put this together in the channel and test it out and see how it works. All right. I think that might be it with the cutting for now. Yep, it's 59 7/8. Good enough for me. Here I used my router table just to round off all the edges because they were pretty sharp edges, so I wanted to make them nice and smooth and round. Got that all done. They're nice and smooth. I like how they turned out. Just a little bit of sandpaper around them now and smooth them right out. I have a mess to clean up here, so I'm going to get this cleaned up and we'll get ready to put it all together. So I have another base, which is basically a tree topper. It's hollow on the inside. Not a tree topper, it's a fence post topper. It kind of goes on top of a fence post like that. But thought this would be a nice base to be able to just put the light on top of, like this. Have the LED channel like this on there, I could drill a hole for the wires to go in, put the D1 Mini and the microphone all tucked in there nice and neat, and this would take up a lot less space. I've fallen behind a little bit in recording. I didn't record everything, but let me catch you up here what I've got so far. So we've attached the wood square piece to the bottom of the post topper. We attached the channel, so I just drilled in countersink holes to fit these little tiny screws that came with the brackets for the channel, and connected two channels together, cut it to size, and then I put one of these little topper things on here, to little cap on top to make it nice and neat. You can see I got it pretty close to the top there. Then I just laid the LED lights inside here. They're not attached or glued down yet. This is just testing things out to see how they look and how they work. And then I put the diffuser back on, and I put the diffuser back on where it goes over there's going to be like a little space right there where they connect. So where they connect, I put the diffuser over the first long one over the entire thing to kind of hold that whole thing nice and tight together, and then the one I had to cut I put down here and doesn't go over any of the connection points. Anyway, and then down here at the bottom, let's see what we got going on. So down here at the bottom I drilled a hole through there and kind of elongated it to fit the lights all the way through there. So you can see they're just kind of loosely fitting in there right now. And now I need to figure out how I'm going to attach all this stuff. Here's what I got so far. I'm going to use 3 of these wire loom holders here, one there, and one there. Drill like a hole right at the bottom there. Might end up with a 4th one there. And then I'm going to drill a hole big enough for this to fit almost all the way through there, and then super glue or hot melt glue this all the way down inside there so that the sound will come out the top. So that's what we have so far, and I think I'm just going to go with it and see how it turns out. Quick update. I managed to drill a hole through there. You can see the little hole on the other side, so just a tiny little hole on the other side. So I started with a little hole exactly where I wanted it, right through there from the top. I drilled all the way through. That became my first pilot hole. Then I marked my tape, measured that, and it was exactly 1 inch. So I drilled a second pilot hole with a little bit larger drill bit, but put this tape around it just shy of 1 inch, and then used this big old honkin' 5/8 one also with a little tape around it to show just shy of 1 inch, and it is absolutely perfect. And then I just kind of finessed it as I felt the hole with my finger on the other side. I could feel how close it was getting. I can look in there with my naked eye. I don't know if you can see how close it is, but it's really close, so it should work out just fine. And then all I do is take this, put that all the way down to the end, and I'm going to put some hot melt glue on the back side of that, and that should glue the mic right where I want it, and then I'll tidy up the rest of this stuff. So I'm not going to do any of that yet because I want to take it all apart still and take this all off, primer it, and then spray paint it black. And then once I have that done, then I'll come back and put this all back together and tidy it up and hot melt glue that microphone inside that hole. And then we should have a pretty completed project. One more update decided I needed to do before I took it all apart was I just took my little Dremel and dremeled right in the center of this a hole for this to fit snugly right in there so that it doesn't go underneath there and poke it up and cause it to be lopsided or anything like that. So then I'll secure that on the inside, and I might stick a little bead of hot melt glue right there or something to hold that steady. But just a little Dremel, just took a pretty quick work of it. Here's my little Ryobi Dremel that I used, with just a cut bit, straight bit, and easy peasy, just snagged a little hole right in there. Here's a quick ruler shot so you can see approximately how far apart the holes are. Next, I put blue painter's tape down the middle of the channel to protect it from getting paint on it, and then I primered it and painted it with 3 coats of black paint. Here I used Rust-Oleum Satin Black from Home Depot. After I was done painting, here's how I reassembled the bottom. And there you have it. Our do-it-yourself sound reactive RGB LED lamp stand is working and shining for a fraction of the costs. How cool is that? I'll leave you with a few samples to enjoy. Best wishes on your projects, and please share your creations in the comments, or if you have questions, please leave a comment. I'm pretty fast to respond. Also, please consider giving us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and please consider subscribing. You can always change your mind later.